Hey everyone, it's Ivan, keepadler.com, out here for another gear review, and today, talking belts. This guy right here by Core Essentials, which is their tactical gun belt. Think basically a EDC belt made for carrying around a blaster. What is it? Like I just mentioned, it's a gun belt that you can wear like every day. Pretty clean looking buckle design. There's actually a ton of different ones to include some kind of fancy ones. I'm not fancy. Number of different color webbing to include. I think they also offer them in leather and stuff like that too. But there's some pretty neat things that basically separate this from a lot of belts. So I'll go over those now. Before I jump into the features, quick note on sizing. This belt comes super long for basically made one belt will fit everyone. And so what you do, there's very simple, straightforward instructions on their site, but you essentially measure out where you need to cut it. You cut that, and then this basically levers, this bellicle section, levers onto it, and it's held in place by these two screws that clamp down onto it, and you're good to go. I will say the measurements they give are fairly generous. You can probably go ahead and eventually, I would cut it to those measurements initially, and then eventually maybe cut it down a little bit more. It depends on how big, how much stuff you're carrying inside the waistband, but you can usually get away with a little less than what their chart says. Having said that, you're not going to add material, so initially start bigger. You can always size it smaller. So with that in mind, right here we have the buckle. There's a number of different buckles. They all work largely along the same principle with this lever down here. Show you how that actually works in a second. Then you have basically a keeper band right here. And the real magic of it is this side over here, which interfaces with that buckle. And you have all these little teeth, approximately, I don't know, probably about a 1/4 inch apart. And that is the magic. I'll show you right now. One of the bad things about belts is you often don't really get the fit you want. What do I mean by that? Well, if you have a traditional belt with holes, like the way they used to be made, and a piece that comes in, well, maybe the hole is where it needs to be, and maybe it's not. Maybe it's in between two holes. So outside of punching another hole, which depending on the spacing, probably end up violating the integrity of that belt, wear out a lot faster, like blast through there, you're just stuck with one hole or the other. Or even belts that use basically a Cobra buckle, usually there's nylon webbing that's holding that buckle in place, which is fine, but ultimately the nylon ends up taking a set. So if one, you end up gaining or losing weight, or just you end up adding or removing layers depending on like time of year, having things tucked in, whatever it may be, the webbing's already taken a set. So even if you cinch it or try and loosen it, like it kind of wants to go back to that same place. This, with these incremental adjustments, we put it in, every single one, super secure. At, again, quarter increment, about 1/4 inch increments, which is really cool. And the way this buckle works, you basically depress this away from what would be your body, regardless how you're wearing it, and that lets you freely remove it or just adjust it back a little bit either way. But pretty neat the way that works. As I'd mentioned, how you wear this, total personal preference. It's just a matter of this lever right here, is that below or above? I tend to basically wear my belt like this. The other thing I guess that matters is make sure, regardless, that this keeper is on that side next to the buckle. But basically take it, run it through all your belt loops on your pants, and once you've done that, all 6 belt loops, more the better honestly. And then once you come back around front, basically run it through that buckle, and then I usually immediately get it started on that elastic keeper and run it in. And before I crank this thing too tight, maybe loosen it a tiny bit. Not a huge advocate of back pocket carry, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw that on my gun belt, finish adjusting that last little bit, and bam, now have my pistol in my holster on my gun belt. Good to go. Which I guess brings me to how have I used it, how has it done for me? Well, I've worn it a lot as just that, like a everyday carry belt. Wearing it every day, largely with just a pistol on here. I've shot it in a number of classes to include just range sessions, a lot of time out on the range, put in reps, and it's done good for me. I think I actually used this also in a competition. I was out at Red October, I guess it was, and was basically running magazines off of a mag pouch, essentially on this belt too. Thing works great. I will say this is probably more rigid than a lot of people need. And what do I mean by that is when it comes to actually holding up a gun, rigidity that way is really important so it doesn't sag, pistol, holster, all that stuff. This rigidity this way is less important. This is definitely rigid in both directions, which is fine. This is very, or would be very at home, running a lot of gear off of it. Like not only like a full-size pistol, as well as spare mags, AR, like you could basically run this honestly like a battle belt and it would probably ride totally fine. If anything, probably overbuilt. But going back to use application, I really like it largely because of this adjustment method. Again, like throughout the course of the day, your body honestly fluctuates a little bit. And if you have a traditional leather belt with holes in it, whatever your belt is, your belt is. So however snug it was in the morning, it's probably not that way in the evening. And this throughout the day, whether you're changing layers, like tucking in shirts, whatever it may be, this will always adjust with you. Very solid, nice incremental clicks. If you're in the market for a solid everyday carry belt, I would check these guys out. There'll be a link down below. A lot of different color options with respect to the belt itself, a bunch of different buckle options, and that just infinite ability to customize this to you, regardless, carrying different size pistol, whatever it may be. You can get this thing nice and comfortable for however snug you want it. Really nice. Price wise, you're looking at anywhere from I think like 60 to 80 depending, but yeah, pretty cool. Core essentials. And yeah, as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadge.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.